Welcome to About Mansfield. It is your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo, broadcasting from the Cellmark Studios, along with the About Mansfield news team. Colleen Daniels, she's out there in Studio West. This is the February 11th, 2026, 307th edition. Coming up, it's Mansfield News, Talk, and Information. Let's check the stories we're covering this week.
Michele Gooch announces candidacy for MISD school board. Mansfield teen sentenced in Florida school swatting case.
We'll talk about moving downtown dirt in a moment with the mayor.
Mansfield Mission Center breaks ground on new facility.
State historical marker approved for Mansfield community leader.
Public input welcome at upcoming desegregation meeting.
Goodwill to open larger Mansfield store in April.
Visit Mansfield lists the best places to locally propose marriage.
And in sports, North Texas SC signs MLS SuperDraft pick.
And in the talk segment, Steve talks with retired criminal attorney Denise Wilkerson. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Looking for a night out that's anything but ordinary? Step into Vault Seafood and Steakhouse, Mansfield's premier upscale dining experience. Savor perfectly aged steaks, fresh seafood, and handcrafted cocktails, all served in a stunning atmosphere. Want more? Enjoy private dining rooms and a cigar lounge for that extra touch of luxury. Vault delivers exceptional flavor in a one-of-a-kind atmosphere. Located at Matlock and Country Club, Vault Seafood and Steakhouse. Unforgettable nights. Unmatched taste.
Hi, this is Mansfield ISD Superintendent Dr. Kimberly Cantu, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by Vault Seafood and Steakhouse.
Business owner and community leader Michele Gooch has announced her candidacy for Place 7 on the Mansfield Independent School District Board of Trustees. Gooch says her campaign is centered on long-term student success and practical governance. Her stated priorities include reducing administrative obstacles for teachers and promoting classroom environments designed around student needs. Her platform calls for policies that allow educators to focus more directly on instruction and student outcomes while maintaining support systems for both teachers and families. Gooch's professional background includes leadership coaching, pastoral ministry, and crisis counseling. She says that experience has prepared her to work through complex situations and support organizations and families during periods of change. She describes school board service as a form of civic responsibility and community stewardship. Gooch says her decision to run comes at a time when the district is working through leadership transitions and evolving priorities. Place 7 is currently held by Courtney Lackey Wilson. Early voting runs for 9 days in April, from the 20th through the 28th. Election Day is Saturday, May 2nd. We begin with an update to a story that we brought you in January 2024. A Mansfield teenager has been sentenced in connection with a 2023 school swatting incident in Florida that triggered multiple campus lockdowns and a large law enforcement response. According to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, Cameron Gully of Mansfield was sentenced Tuesday in an Okaloosa County courtroom to 4 years in state prison, followed by 5 years of probation. Investigators say the case stems from a November 2023 hoax call to the Crestview Police Department reporting that an armed person planned to shoot students at Baker School in Okaloosa County, Florida. Authorities say the call led to lockdowns at Baker School, Crestview High School, and other nearby campuses, along with a multi-agency emergency response. The sheriff's office says investigators traced the call to a Mansfield address. The Mansfield Police Department interviewed Gully as part of the investigation. Authorities also linked Gully to Florida teen Landon Whittington of Baker, who investigators say was involved in multiple swatting incidents across several states. Whittington was sentenced last June to 4 years in state prison, followed by 2 years of probation. Swatting refers to false emergency calls designed to prompt an armed police response. Officials say such incidents can divert emergency resources and create significant public safety risks.
The Mansfield City Council held a regularly scheduled meeting on Monday evening. The following opinions of those of Michael Evans may not necessarily reflect those of the Mansfield City Council. As we do, it's been a while because we got iced out a couple of weeks ago. Mayor Michael Evans in the studio. Welcome back to About Mansfield.
Top of the morning, sir.
Top of the morning. Let's talk about what happened Monday night at City Council. Fall interns. You got to love interns.
Listen, you have to love them because of the fact they do such great work. So we had 3 interns this semester. These young adults received hands-on experience from our knowledgeable staff while also teaching our seasoned employees lessons beyond spreadsheets and processes. So we always want to be thankful for the work that they do. And guess what? We hire a lot of these interns as well. Our city, as it continues to grow, we continue to infuse it with good people, our staff with good people.
Absolutely. Hey, there's a lot of dirt being moved at Main and Broad.
Sure is, sir. Our council approved a design and construction administration contract for the Main and Broad Street, that roadway project. It's going to cost about, this portion of it, $2.2 million, just getting it ready for the downtown improvements. And Steve, we've been talking about this for a long time. It's good to see the dirt moving. And we want folks to know that we will be burying those utility lines and all that kind of stuff. So, hey, it's underway now, finally underway.
You and City Manager Joe Smolinski, you talked about this during the State of the City address, the extension of Matlock Road, and you acted on it last night.
Yes, we did. I tell you what, when you talk about it, you better act on it. So, we approved a $26 million advanced funding agreement with TxDOT for the design and construction of the South Matlock Road from a Heritage Parkway to River Birch Drive. And note what this will do. This is going to extend Matlock Road down south and provide, thankfully, alternative routes for traffic flow, with the hope that it will improve the connectivity that's needed. And now $26 million is a lot of money. So I don't want folks to have sticker shock, but the city staff worked hard to secure a $20 million federal and state grant for this project. So all of that cost won't be on our taxpayers.
All right. And that kind of goes along with safe streets, doesn't it?
It does. We need to have safe streets. So we approved our active transportation and a safety plan. Folks who may want to go back and check that out, they'll find where we're wanting to really bring and to integrate into our transit more bike lanes and things of that nature, and also wider sidewalks. All this is important. We just want people to be able to move around the city comfortably without always having to get into a car to do that.
As an avid biker, I'm all in favor of bike lanes.
We're doing the very best we can to make that happen, especially on these new streets, these new roads that we're building.
We would appreciate that. The Pickle Parade is coming to Mansfield.
The Pickle Parade is coming. The world's only pickle parade. As a matter of fact, I got pickled last night. Yeah, it's a new fundraiser, and I tell you what, that John Presley and those pickle queens. I mean, you can't resist the pickle queens. So when they pickle you, you're just pickled, buddy. I mean, it's just that way, and it's a good fundraiser. We know that that entire team that John leads, that they raise monies for scholarships and things of that nature. So what we did, our council approved a downtown activation grant for this year's event. So we want people to mark your calendars, because we want everybody to join us at the historic downtown Mansfield on March the 21st. Now, we know that's a week after. We know that.
Yeah.
But it's on purpose because Arlington's having its Grand Prix. We didn't want to try to compete with that. So all the folks from Arlington will be coming to Mansfield on the 21st, and they're going to have a great time. We had about 50,000 people out there last year.
You know why they came? Because it was the first year that I got to announce the Pickle Parade.
You know what? I think you're right. And
that's what brought the people out.
You know what? Dog it. Okay, I think you need to do it again this year.
You know what? I will be back this year.
Well,
and this year I will have things to give away. So drop by the announcer's booth, not during the parade, before the parade, come by the announcer's booth, and I'll give you something.
Okay, well, you know what?
Until while supplies last.
Well, you better put that in there. And,
yes.
and I might have, I've got a 1974 Volkswagen Beetle, and it might be ready by then. I'm getting it painted orange, nice. So I'm hastening back to my high school days 40 plus years ago.
Nice. Let's get into the consent agenda. There were 14 items. You know what? I'm just going to tee it up and you whack it down the fairway.
Well, as you always say, let's talk about the sexy ones.
Let's do it.
All right. So we approved calling for a general election on May the 2nd. It is that time again, man. And also, we approved $818,000 for a contract for the design and survey of US 287 southbound entrance, ladies and gentlemen. That entrance ramp at Walnut Creek Drive, it's coming soon. Also, we approved $625,000 in regard to a contract for asphalt overlay of Broad Street from Cannon to Matlock Road, and a $873,000 change order for Julian Field Park improvements, the second phase. I do not know, ladies and gentlemen, if you have been by Julian Field Park lately, but if you haven't, you're going to be surprised because of that Veterans Memorial. It is beautiful out there. The prayer is that we will cut the ribbon on Memorial Day, but it will, just looking at it, Steve, will bring tears to your eyes. And I really mean that. All right, we're almost done. We had a $300,000 contract that we approved for restoration services for a public library, one of my favorite places in town. Mm-hmm. And so all of that is what took place for the most part. But if you want to see the entire council meeting, just go to mansfieldtexas.gov and you'll see everything. And that's it, buddy.
That is Mayor Michael Evans. That is called A Moment with the Mayor. And Mr. Mayor, go forth. Have a great day. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right. Well, as we Vulcans say, you go forth and prosper.
Community leaders, clergy, and residents gathered for a ceremonial groundbreaking to mark the start of construction on a new facility for the Mansfield Mission Center, a nonprofit organization focused on serving residents in need. Board Chair Brian Atkinson opened the ceremony by welcoming attendees and describing the event as a milestone moment for the organization. He thanked supporters for their continued involvement and characterized the project as the next step in the Mission Center's growth and service to the community. Senior pastor at First Methodist Mansfield, David Alexander, spoke about the Mission Center's origins, tracing its roots to a small ministry that began at the church in 1979 and later became known as the Wesley Mission Center. He presented a ceremonial shovel first used at its church groundbreaking in 1980, which was reused during the event to symbolize continuity and community support. Brian McFadden is the executive director of the Mansfield Mission Center and said the new building represents the beginning of a new chapter for the organization. He described the future site as a compassion corner.
Where compassion lives here because of the network of churches that we have and the community support that each of you bring to us. And we are so thankful and blessed that you're here today. We look forward to the walls of this building needing a new coat of paint, and the rooms to be full of activity. And we want to look back on this time and remember that today was the day where we turned a new chapter and everyone in our city knew where to come for hope.
Organizers said the new building is designed to accommodate growing demand and expand program capacity. Construction is expected to move forward following the groundbreaking ceremony.
A new Texas State historical marker has been approved, recognizing longtime Mansfield community leader and civil rights advocate Thomas Mayfield T.M. Moody. The marker will be issued through the Texas Historical Commission's Undertold Marker Program, which was created in 2006 to highlight historically underrepresented people, places, and events. Moody was born and raised here in Mansfield and is documented as a key figure in efforts to improve education, infrastructure, and public services for Black residents in the western part of the city during the mid-20th century. Records show he served as a local NAACP chapter president and worked to advocate for school desegregation following the 1954 Supreme Court decision in Brown versus Board of Education. Historical accounts also describe his role in campaigns to expand access to water, sewer, and street lighting to underserved neighborhoods. According to application materials submitted last fall, Moody also supported student tutoring programs and held long-term leadership roles at Bethlehem Baptist Church. He died in 1984 and is buried in the Mansfield Community Cemetery. The Moody marker becomes the 5th state marker secured locally in recent years and the first awarded under the Undertold marker program. Other previously approved Mansfield markers include the Board and Corn Drugstore, Bethlehem Baptist Church, the Southland Ice Company Building, and the First National Bank Building. Additional marker applications are expected to be submitted sometime during the next state review window.
The Mansfield Historical Society will have a general meeting open to the public on Saturday, February 21st. The meeting will focus on the introduction of the Mansfield Desegregation Landmark to be located at Geyer Commons. The landmark will reflect on the first attempt to desegregate schools in Mansfield and how far we've come in the last 70 years. Mansfield had a major role in the U.S. Civil Rights Movement in the 1950s and 1960s. The landmark will be sponsored by the Mansfield Historical Society, Bethlehem Baptist Church, and various community and business organizations. This meeting is open to all residents interested in learning about Mansfield's civil rights history. The meeting, again, is scheduled for 6 p.m. on Saturday, February 21st at the Mann House Museum, located at 604 West Broad Street.
Goodwill North Central Texas says it will open its largest retail store in the region right here in Mansfield this spring as the nonprofit is relocating its current Mansfield location to a larger space at 989 North Walnut Creek Drive. That's the former Big Lots building. The new store will measure just under 20,000 square feet and is expected to open in early April. Construction is already underway. Organization leaders say the move is tied to increased donations and customer activity in the Mansfield area. The expanded store is expected to add 17 new jobs, with 12 current employees transferring to the existing location. Goodwill says revenue from store sales supports its workforce programs, including job training, education, and employment placement services across North Central Texas.
It's February, the month of love, and the folks over at Visit Mansfield put together their top 5 locations around town to, quote, pop the question. Coming in at number 5 is the Lucretia Mills Gazebo at the corner of East Broad Street and Walnut Creek Drive. Visit Mansfield describes it as cute, country, and classic. Number 4 is the Overlook at Oliver Nature Park on Matlock Road, recommended for couples who prefer an outdoors backdrop. Number 3, the Love Your Vibe mural on the Flying Squirrel Building downtown makes the list as a colorful, photo-ready option for couples who want their engagement to double as instant wall art. Ranked at number 2 is the historic Mann House on West Broad Street, a Mansfield landmark, noted for its iconic status and, depending on who you ask, possible supernatural witnesses. And the number 1 suggested proposal spot? The top of a water slide at Hawaiian Falls at Highway 360 and Heritage Parkway. Visit Mansfield notes, the view is impressive, the moment is unforgettable, and in the event of an unexpected answer, a rapid exit is built right in. Seasonal availability applies.
Friday night basketball and soccer. We'll talk about it because sports is next.
Hungry for bold flavor and a good time? Head on over to El Primo's to enjoy sizzling fajitas and their signature blue margarita. Enjoy weekend live entertainment and let the kids run wild with an outdoor play area and arcade. Planning a party? Multiple private rooms are available, including the all-new Parrot's Nest to make your event a success. Food, fun, and flavor for the whole family at El Primo's. Visit elprimos.net and bring your appetite. Located at Matlock and Country Club. El Primo's, where the locals go.
Mansfield Plumbing, Electrical, Heating, and Air is a family-owned local service provider with over 20 years of experience. Servicing Mansfield and surrounding areas, we offer expert plumbing, electrical, heating, and air solutions focused on quality workmanship, customer satisfaction, fair pricing, and guaranteed results for homes and businesses.
Call 817-473-8888. Mansfield Plumbing's never second rate.
In sports, it's Friday night action as the boys and the girls hit the hard court. Let's talk about basketball. Lakeridge crushed Crowley last Friday night, 70-59. Your Mansfield Tigers topped Legacy, 75-68. Summit's on a 12-game winning streak and bounced Burleson 55-31, while Timberview have won 11 of their last 12 games and clobbered Cleburne 76-36. Over on the girls' side of the court, Lakeridge pounced on Crowley 71-42. Your Mansfield Lady Tigers took a loss to Legacy 52-37. Summit routed Burleson 63-23, while Timberview took another loss, this time to Cleburne 64-31. With just a week left in the boys' regular season, 4 MISD boys teams are in the hunt for the playoffs, including in 6A, Mansfield. Their record is 7-3 in the district. It's second place. Lakeridge, 6-3 in third place. 5A boys, Summit, a perfect 11-0, first place. And Timberview, 10-1, coming in at second place. The regular season has ended for the girls, and playoff bound are Lakeridge, 7-4 in third place. Legacy, 7-4 in fourth place. And over in 5A girls, Summit is 9-3. They dropped a slot from last week from second to third place. In other sports, North Texas SC has signed midfielder Edward Nice to a 2-year MLS Next Pro contract with a club option for a third year. The deal is pending receipt of his P1 visa and international transfer certificate. Nice joins North Texas after his junior season at the University of Illinois Chicago, where he recorded 16 goals and 5 assists in just 18 matches. He earned Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year and Forward of the Year honors and was named All-West Region First Team by United Soccer Coaches. Before transferring to Illinois, the Belgium native played at Northeast Community College, totaling 48 goals, 49 assists across 49 matches. He helped lead the team to a national championship and was named Junior College Division II Player of the Year. North Texas SC is the MLS Next Pro affiliate of FC Dallas and is scheduled to move to Mansfield Stadium on the 4th of July. And that, my friends, is a look at sports. This coming Saturday, February 14th, you know it is. It's Valentine's Day. Of course you knew that. It's a day of love, literature, anatomy, self-esteem, medical awareness, relationship status, symbolism, and preventative planning, all wrapped into one big heart-shaped box of chocolates. Let me break it down. Valentine's Day traditionally focuses on expressing affection for others. It's also International Book Giving Day, which suggests you express that affection with a paperback. Nothing says romance like, I got you a thriller. National Donor Day adds a noble twist, encouraging people to give blood, tissue, or organs, perhaps a heart, which really raises the stakes on what qualifies as a meaningful gift. While we're on the subject of hearts, Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Day and Gold Heart Day both steer the theme toward actual hearts, the anatomical kind, reminding everyone that while eating candy hearts are festive, the real ones prefer cardio and regular checkups. So let's shift the spotlight inward now with Madly in Love with Me Day. It's the only observance that encourages you to buy chocolates for yourself, keep them, and then judge anyone who asks for one. Then the calendar takes a hard turn into the brutally honest with National Call-In Single Day, a safe space for the unattached to acknowledge their status without pretending that they forgot it's Valentine's Day. Right alongside it sits National Impotence Day, which is deeply unfortunate timing. And finally, National Condom Day, practical, preventative, and refreshingly aware of cause and effect relationships. So whether you're in love, single, self-partnered, medically mindful, or just here for the discounted chocolate on the 15th, Saturday has something for everyone. Romance may be complicated, but at least the calendar made it efficient.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
If the year kicked off with healthier eating habits, you probably noticed protein taking center stage. I'm Angel Biasatti, and we're talking about protein on Methodist Mansfield News to Know.
We will talk with the city's Director of Regulatory Compliance in this week's 40 Under 40.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, it's layered, it's deep, it's commitment in liquid form. It's sweet, it's bold, it's a little bittersweet, kind of the way real love should be.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news was brought to you by El Primo's, where the locals go.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
Congratulations to Brittany Hudson, who was the first person to correctly answer last week's Mansfield trivia question. As mentioned at the recent State of the City address, the City of Mansfield follows 5 guiding principles known as, quote, True North, end quote. As an acronym, what does NORTH stand for? Brittany knew it stands for N, Noteworthy Essentials, O, Organizational Excellence, R, Remarkable Experiences, T, Together as One, and H, Healthy Economy. Looking for the weekly, highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield trivia question? You can find it at its new home on the About Mansfield Facebook page. So log on to Facebook right now and hit the About Mansfield News Talk page. As always, the first person to email the correct answer will win a $25 restaurant gift card, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance. Good luck. When we come back, we turn the page to the features section. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
Hey, you guys, I'm Sean Surface with Second Chance Mentors, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section. Angel Biasatti is here to talk about the role protein plays in your daily diet in Methodist Mansfield News to Know. Angel?
If the year kicked off with healthier eating habits, you probably noticed protein taking center stage. It's often praised for weight loss, muscle strength, and steady energy. But more isn't always better. The key to making protein work for your body isn't chasing numbers, it's balance. Anytime you increase protein, you have to consider fiber. That balance supports digestion, heart health, and long-term wellness. Here's what you need to know about protein and why protein matters. Protein does much more than build muscle. It helps repair tissue after illness or injury. It supports your immune function and plays a role in nearly every organ of your body. It's also helpful for weight management. Protein helps you feel full faster and satisfied longer, which can naturally reduce overeating and cravings. When choosing animal-based proteins, lean options like chicken, turkey, fish, and lean cuts of beef are best to limit the saturated fat in your body. How much protein do you really need? For most adults, a recommended intake is about 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight per day, roughly 60 grams daily for a 165-pound adult. Protein needs may increase during recovery from illness, a surgery, or strength training, sometimes up to 1.2 grams per kilogram, but this should be done with medical guidance. Too much protein can strain the kidneys. It's important to be sure kidney function is healthy before increasing your intake. Signs of excess protein can be subtle and may include constipation or foamy urine. A simple urine test during a routine visit to your primary care doctor can help identify any concerns. Both animal and plant-based proteins can be part of a healthy diet. The difference often lies in what comes with them. Plant-based proteins such as beans, lentils, tofu, nuts, and seeds provide fiber, which supports heart and digestive health. Lean animal proteins offer complete amino acids, but should be chosen carefully to limit the saturated fat. You don't have to choose one or the other. A mix of both supports a more balanced, heart-healthy diet. The biggest issue with high-protein diets isn't protein, it's what gets left out. Fiber is almost always the missing piece. Most adults should aim for about 35 grams of fiber per day, yet few meet that goal. Fiber supports digestion, cholesterol levels, blood sugar control, and helps prevent constipation, especially important when your protein intake increases. Want to add protein to your diet? There's some easy options. Hard-boiled eggs, nuts or trail mix if you don't have those allergies, beans or lentils added to soups or slow cooker meals, protein bars or shakes, included plant-based options, protein powder mixed with water or almond milk. Adequate protein is especially important for people taking GLP-1 medications, which reduce the appetite. When patients don't get enough protein, we may see muscle loss, hair thinning, and skin changes. Many packaged foods now advertise added protein, from cereals to snack bars. While convenient, they often rely on protein isolates and shouldn't replace whole foods. They're fine occasionally, but whole foods like beans, lentils, lean meats, and fish remain the best foundation. Bottom line, protein plays an important role in health, but it works best when paired with fiber and mindful choices. Balance, not extremes. It's what supports lasting wellness. I'm Angel Biasatti, reporting for the About Mansfield podcast.
The Mansfield Business Alliance has recently released their 40 under 40 list, the inaugural 40 under 40. Now, these are 40 people who are either at the age or under the age of 40. This is the next generation of leaders here in Mansfield, and we have one of them in the studio today. My guest has had several titles during her tenure at the city and is currently the Director of Regulatory Compliance for the City of Mansfield. She oversees the not-so-small task of making sure that businesses and citizens of Mansfield are complying with regulations. Her work helps protect public health, safety, and the overall integrity of city operations, which means if something is running smoothly, there's a good chance she's had a hand in it. She brings deep municipal experience and a strong commitment to public service, and we are happy to have her here today. Nicolette Ricciuti, welcome to About Mansfield.
Thank you.
And you have been nominated. You have been elected as a 40 under 40 of the inaugural class. What does that mean to you?
Oh, I think that it was a really big honor. I was excited to get nominated, and I think as far as what it means to me, it's a little bit of kind of recognition or confirmation that what I'm doing has made a positive impact on others, and just knowing that some people felt strongly enough to nominate me really means a lot, and maybe I'm doing something right.
Before we get into what you currently do as the Director of Regulatory Compliance, talk about some of the other titles that you've had for the City of Mansfield.
Oh, there have been a few.
There have been a few. Yes, there have.
When I first started working for the city, I was working for the Parks and Recreation and Tourism Department. And then I started working for the city manager's office doing strategic initiatives. I was an assistant to the city manager, but what a lot of that was starting brand new programs that the city didn't have yet, and laying the foundation for them and getting them started and established enough that they could continue operating. So some of the different programs that I founded was our downtown revitalization program with the new revitalization strategies that City Council had adopted. I also started the internship program, the emerging leaders program for the city, and some other program, can't remember. Downtown emerging leaders internship.
Right. And this is not your first time on About Mansfield. When you were on there, you were the downtown coordinator.
Yes.
And so with that, your role was basically the liaison, if I recall, between the downtown businesses and the city, is it?
Definitely. That was a huge part of it. And I think that was kind of one of the big parts of my career where I really got to first get my foot in face-to-face community work, and actually getting to interact with residents, business owners, everybody in downtown. And I was the liaison and also worked to just kind of go through some of the strategies that the City Council had adopted, like writing grant programs, working on economic development and trying to recruit new businesses to town, and some of the improvements for like wayfinding and parks and things like that downtown. So A to Z, if it had to do with downtown, I was a part of it.
That was it. Talk about your background and how it got you to where you are today. Did you study municipal or urban planning, or are we going back to high school or college, or what got you here?
So I always really enjoyed the kind of social sciences, and I got my undergraduate degree in psychology, sociology, and anthropology. So everything about kind of communities, families, people is something that interested me, and I knew that I wanted to have a career where I could help people. So after I graduated, I went back for my master's in public administration. Even then, I didn't know what I would do. I thought I would end up going into nonprofit work.
Yeah.
But I did an internship with the City of Mansfield and had my eyes open to city work, municipal operations, and fell in love with it and kept applying for stuff. And once I got my foot back in the door, that was it.
Let's talk about making an impact. There has to be one time in your career where you went home that night going, wow, I really made a difference today. Can you think of a specific event that happened that took place?
I can think of some conversations that I've had with people in my current role in regulatory compliance. And that with regulatory compliance, our job is to make sure that people are in compliance with local, state, and federal laws. But sometimes what that looks like is we're telling you to do something that you don't want to do.
Sure.
Or there's maybe a conflict between you and a neighbor, or how you think you should be operating a business or something like that, and we're telling you it has to change. So people don't always love to see us. They don't necessarily always love to get a phone call from us. But everything we're doing is there's a reason for it. It's for safety. It's for, property values, all of those things. So I have had some very, I've had people that are having conflicts with others that are very intense. And I've been on the phone with people who are crying because there's this conflict that's happening that they're trying to get a solution for, and it's taking so long, or there's not a clear answer. So I can remember particularly someone that I spoke to that was crying on the phone, had been trying to contact all of these different property owners and associations, trying to get something fixed for months, and really was getting brushed off by everybody, if not just straight up treated very badly. And we were able to come in and help provide some guidance, help kind of put some pressure on to get a solution. And I know that it made a big impact for her.
Nice. Talk about the different aspects of the department that you work in. You mentioned code compliance, and so that's one of them, but there are several.
Yes. So regulatory compliance is code compliance, and our multifamily and lodging establishment inspection program, and our consumer health program. So we inspect restaurants, pools, daycares, that kind of thing. And then we also have animal care and control. So we run the animal shelter and then enforce animal ordinances. I know that code compliance officers are actually law enforcement officers, and they have the ability to write citations. Are you an officer as well? I am. You are. Yes. You carry a badge. We don't carry badges. Oh no. They make them, but we don't carry them. We try to really approach it as compliance. Instead of calling ourselves code enforcement, we call ourselves code compliance, because we really take the approach of education, outreach, explaining how to get in compliance. Code compliance right there on my water bottle. Yes. There you go. Continue. So our goal is, we're not trying to intimidate you or, hold the badge in your face. We're really trying to explain, hey, did you know that this is what the rule is? Here's why. There's a reason why. And then what do you need to do to get into compliance? And as far as our proactive or kind of compliance approach, we also really work to make sure that we can accommodate people if there's some challenge that they have. So if someone calls us and says, I know you gave me the deadline of next week, but I need a couple more days because I need to borrow a tool or something, we're going to give you those few days. We don't want to throw the book at someone. We just want to help everyone to get into compliance. It's a city with compassion. Yes. Yeah. Knowing that animal control or code compliance or rating restaurants, it's not a 9-to-5 job. And talk about your work-life balance, or is there a work-life balance? There is. I mean, you have to carve out that time no matter what. Am I probably more available than I'm expected to be, or than my bosses like, where they're like, you really need to clock out and take some time to yourself. But like you said, there's always something going on. There may be like a fire that happens somewhere, or I don't know, an emergency with an animal, that kind of thing. So with work-life balance, I just try to, I don't know. I'm not that good at it, but it's all right. I try to make sure that I carve out like a couple times a year where I'll take a few days away, just spend it with family or travel. I normally still am available by phone, but the best thing that we can do is really how well we equip the people who are still in the office. So we do a lot of proactive training and a lot of communication so that everyone knows what cases or what things we have going on. So we always have our kind of chain of command and our action plan that someone can respond to it. It doesn't always have to be me. Let's go back in time. The current day Nicolette, standing in front of 10-year-old Nicolette. Okay. What advice would you give her? What advice would I give 10-year-old Nicolette? Yeah. I think any advice that I would give 10-year-old, 100 years old, is advice that I try to give a lot to interns or anybody I come across, which is to do the scary thing. Just do it. And honestly, you'll probably be better for it. I have had times in my life where I was absolutely terrified. I like studying abroad as an example.
Where'd you study?
New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's on my bucket list.
It was awesome. But the day that I showed up, got through the airport, customs, through the university transport to the university housing, sat down in my little student apartment that was the size of this studio, and looked around and realized I don't know a single person in this country. I was terrified, and I'm like, I can't change my return flight for months. I'm just here. So what am I going to do? I can either, be reclusive or like introverted and stay in my room the whole time and not really get the full experience from this, or I can be a yes person and just be brave and embrace it all.
Yeah.
And while I was standing in the lobby, whenever we arrived, one of the students that was in the transportation with me from Germany heard someone speaking German in the lobby, starts speaking to them, turns to me and says, they said, a lot of people are going to be down here at 7:00 for dinner.
Yeah.
And again, I was terrified. I said, okay, I will be down here for dinner. And the people I met that night, I was friends with the entire time that I was there.
Step out of your shell.
Yeah.
And would you say take the...
be brave.
Be brave.
Do the scary thing.
Okay. Excellent. We like to conclude these interviews with what's called an open mic. This is your opportunity to, whether it's giving thanks or shout outs, or if you want to do Nicolette's motivational minute or what have you. If you want to take a look at that camera right there and Nicolette, the mic is yours.
Okay. I think, again, there's so many opportunities and amazing things available in life to take advantage of, that you just have to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to do the scary thing, and kind of embrace everything. Be excited about it. I know that I have made a practice of doing that, and the paths and twists and turns that I've managed to take in my life have been unexpected, but have led me to amazing experiences and to just a really exciting place to be right now.
Nicolette Ricciuti.
Yes.
40 under 40. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on About Mansfield.
Thank you.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain serves up a drink that he describes as committed, deep, and layered in this week's Cocktail of the Week. Brian.
So welcome back to another Cocktail of the Week, brought to you as always by Bourbon Gospel. I'm your host, Brian Certain, and we're continuing our February theme, Love in All Its Flavors. Last week was light and flirty, a nod to our first crush, but this week, well, this one's for the real thing, the kind of love that makes you delete the dating apps and start Googling how to clean grout. Some things just go together, like a perfectly tied bow tie, or a bourbon neat, or a handwritten vows and the tears that follow. This cocktail doesn't shout. It whispers. It's rich, it's velvety, it's made to sip slowly with someone who knows your quirks and still shows up anyway. I call it the vow. It's a raspberry chocolate old-fashioned that blends tradition with a little luxurious twist. Now, how do we make this luxurious cocktail? First, we're going to use 2 ounces of Texas bourbon, something like TX or something like from Still Austin or Treaty Oak. We're going to use a 1/2 ounce of raspberry-infused simple syrup. That's equal parts sugar and water and fresh raspberries. 2 dashes of chocolate bitters, 1 dash of Angostura bitters, and then optional is a bar spoon of creme de cacao for the deeper chocolate notes. Creme de cacao is a chocolate liqueur that is just one of my favorites. You're going to garnish with dark chocolate shavings and a fresh raspberry or 2. And then glassware for this one is going to be a rocks glass over 1 large ice cube, like we do with our other old fashions. How are we going to make this great cocktail? Well, in a mixing glass, you're going to combine the bourbon, the raspberry syrup, the bitters, and if you're using the creme de cacao. Add ice and shake for about 20 to 30 seconds until chilled and well blended. Then you're going to strain into a rocks glass over a large ice cube and then garnish with the chocolate shavings and a skewered raspberry or two. Little fun history. The Old Fashioned is one of the most iconic and enduring cocktails. Dates back to the early 1800s and was considered the original definition of a cocktail. That is a spirit, sugar, bitters, and water. And we're honoring that classic framework while leaning into the indulgent with raspberries, long considered to be the symbol of romantic love, and chocolate bitters, both of which are said to release serotonin, the happy chemical. Coincidence? Not on your life. The riff is elegant, it's grounded, it's complex. It's the kind of relationship that inspires wedding vows. Pro tip, this is not a one-and-done drink. It lingers. It'll have you reaching for a second, even if you're not saying I do. Mocktail version. We're going to use 2 ounces of a 0-proof bourbon alternative, a ½ ounce of raspberry syrup, 2 dashes of chocolate bitters, a dash of the Fee Brothers old-fashioned aromatic bitters, and then optional will be a bar spoon of cacao tea or steep cocoa husk extract. You're going to build it over a large single ice cube, gently stirring and garnish with care. The promise is real. And this week, pour into a glass the ones that you've stood by you through burnt dinners, late night doubts, and the everyday messiness of love. Whether you're in the middle of forever or just dreaming of it, the vow reminds us that commitment isn't just something we say, it's something we pour into every single day. As always, I'm open to hear your take and your input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as America's poet Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad. But too much whiskey, well, that's barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
We're back in 60 seconds with Steve's in-studio interview with retired criminal attorney Denise Wilkerson.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hi, I'm Ebony Turner, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. In the studio today, this is going to be fascinating as hell. I mean, I got to tell you that after reading her bio and the experiences that she has gone through, not only as a prosecuting attorney, but as a politician as well. In the studio today, Denise Wilkerson, welcome to About Mansfield.
Good morning, Steve. Good to be here.
The last time you and I met, and you had just said seconds before we started recording that you wanted to kind of throw this in, and this is perfect. You and I met because we were both volunteers at Taste Community Restaurant up in Arlington.
Yes, with your wife as well.
And my wife as well. And you volunteer as a server.
Right, every Friday.
So if someone wanted to come in and have lunch at Taste, and if it's a Friday, there's a possibility that you would be the server.
There's a very good chance.
The neat thing, I didn't mean to kind of get into do a commercial for Taste, but the neat thing about Taste is
you pay what you can afford.
You pay what you can afford.
So if you can only afford to pay a few dollars, that's what you pay for the same meal that someone else may decide to pay $40 for. These are restaurant chef-prepared meals. It's not fast food. It's not the kind of food that you would typically eat at a community kitchen. But
Right.
it is a community kitchen because our mission is to feed, educate, and serve the community.
Everybody deserves a meal.
Exactly.
Right. And this is Jeff Williams, not the former mayor of Arlington, Jeff Williams, but another Jeff Williams. This is his second location.
Correct. There's
And
also one in Fort Worth.
have you volunteered there as well?
No.
No? Okay. You now you do this because you're retired and it's a fun thing to do.
It's very fun. I put myself through college and law school waiting tables.
Okay.
So it was very easy for me to fall back on this as something I could do as a volunteer. And I love meeting the people in the community that come in to eat at the restaurant.
My wife is also a volunteer server there, and she actually dragged me in. I've been a volunteer twice. I got to man the beverage bar, which I thought was great because I always wanted to be a bartender.
It's just coffee, tea, and sodas.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. And the second time was on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh.
And I was a busboy for 4 hours. That is work. The compared to the beverage bar, being a busboy was tough. And I was a busboy in my teens. I think I did 15,000 steps in 4 hours. And
I keep track of my steps when I work at Taste.
there you go. Let's get into who Denise Wilkerson is. And first of all, I'm not hearing a Texas accent in you. Are you from Texas?
No. I'm not. I'm a military brat.
Okay.
My father was a career Air Force officer, and so I lived all over the United States. I don't really call anywhere home except for Texas because I've lived here the longest.
Okay. But where were you born?
Michigan.
Okay.
My father was with Strategic Air Command, and so in the early 1960s, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, he was one of the bombers that flew, 24/7.
Oh, around Cuba.
Well, I think they kept him up in case there was a nuclear strike.
Right. That. But yeah, they had to make sure that nothing's flying in the air that shouldn't be flying in the air.
Right.
And so you lived all over. The military took you all over the country, all over the world.
I lived in the Philippines. Would be the only country I lived in overseas. We were there for 2 years. My father was in Vietnam for 4.
What prompted you to get into studying law and becoming an attorney?
Lack of imagination.
Okay, tell me more.
My older brother was an attorney. My sister's husband was an attorney. It looked like the career I should pursue. I really didn't think much about anything else just because of my family members who were already attorneys.
Okay, and where were you when you decided? I've got no imagination. I'm going to go to law school.
University of Oklahoma. I went my undergrad and law school there.
You became a prosecuting attorney, but when you graduated, was that your goal to become a prosecutor, or where did you start in your career?
Well, it's funny you should ask that question because in law school, my favorite classes were code-based classes, Uniform Commercial Code, Bankruptcy Code, Tax Code. Love those classes. Hated constitutional law, hated trial work. And so when I got out of law school, I got a job with Big Law, working in the bankruptcy and tax section. And I started work in August, and by February I was losing my mind with boredom.
You needed something a little more exciting, only to find out that years later you would become a part of probably one of the biggest trials in Texas.
Well, that was it. I was so bored, and having lunch with the guys from the trial section, and it was all men at the time, they suggested that if I really wanted to get my feet wet as a trial attorney, I should look at the DA's office. And so I did. They were hiring. They were short of attorneys at the time because the district attorney, Vic Fazell, at the time had been indicted by the federal government for racketeering. And so he was having difficulty hiring people to come work for him.
I would think so. Yeah. If you've got that reputation of I'm under indictment, come to think of it, don't we have one of our current attorney generals is under indictment, is he not?
I don't know.
No comment. But did you go to work for him?
Yes, I did. Went to work for him in February of 1987.
Mm-hmm.
And started as a misdemeanor prosecutor. They threw me into the courtroom. I was trying cases within 2 weeks.
Wow. And were you prepared for that?
No. I got the nickname Directed Verdict Wilkerson because my initials are DV. And because I got a directed verdict, which means it's not even enough evidence to get it to the jury for about my first 3 trials. I had no clue what I was doing.
A little wet behind the ears.
Very, very much so.
And then how did you, and how many years were you a prosecutor by the time you got the big case?
Well, I have the dates later on in this presentation.
Okay, we'll get to that.
But it was probably 1988.
88, so not
that long.
Not that long. How many cases from the time you started as a prosecutor?
I tried 36 cases in the 3 years I was at the Waco District Attorney's Office.
Okay. Living in Waco.
Living in Waco.
All right. And you know what? Let's just get right into it.
Okay.
Because February 19th, you said, is the anniversary of
the ATF raid on the Branch Davidian compound in Waco.
Okay. And of 1993?
No. Yes, of 1993.
Okay. This is the big trial, folks. Listen up. The big trial is that you helped or you did prosecute David Koresh.
I prosecuted David Koresh back in 1989 for attempted murder. And he had 7 co-defendants, 7 other Branch Davidians, so it was 8 defendants altogether.
How did you become you were the lead prosecutor?
No, I was second chair.
Okay,
I was still a misdemeanor prosecutor, so I was second chair on that case.
And how were you chosen as would you say the D?
Second chair.
But your initials D.
Oh, DV.
DV. How did you go from DV to becoming second chair to?
Well, you get 30 trials under your belt. You learn how to try a case. But in this particular case, the reason why I was assigned to it is because I was familiar with the Branch Davidians a little bit before the crime occurred.
You're pretty much an expert on the Branch Davidians.
I was considered an expert back in the day.
Yeah. One thing that I learned just within the last hour is that the Branch Davidians did not start in the 1980s. That when I used to watch the miniseries Waco, that was all pretty much based around the David Koresh days. And it's been years since I watched that series. But looking at, because you presented a PowerPoint to me earlier, this goes all the way back to the 1930s, correct?
Yes. Victor Hutef was the founder of the Davidian Branch Davidians of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. That was the full name that he gave it.
Seventh-day Adventist Mormons?
No. They're their own branch, the Seventh-day Adventists.
Okay. We're going to edit that too.
They're similar.
Okay. Seventh-day Adventists and Victor.
Yeah, they have their own colleges. They're there's a community not far from here that's the Seventh-day Adventist community where they have the Seventh-day Adventist University.
Here in the Metroplex?
Yeah.
Who knew? And is that considered a compound?
No.
That
it's normal.
It's normal.
Yes.
Okay. The 1930s and then up to 1957, the Branch Davidians started buying more land.
Well, what happened was the land that he bought in Waco, if you're familiar with Waco at all, there's a beautiful lake there, Lake Waco.
Okay.
The property he purchased was on the lakeshore. So it was beautiful, had this wonderful view of the lake from the property up high on a hill, and it was prime real estate. He had 189 acres, and it was a self-sustaining community. It grew substantially during World War II because the members were religiously exempt from the draft.
Oh, okay.
So became very popular.
So they didn't have to flee to Canada. They just go to Waco.
Just go to Waco, join the Seventh-day Adventist Church. You don't have to. You're not subject to the draft. And then he died in 1955. His wife took over, and hundreds of followers. She was very good at recruiting because they have these newspapers, and the cover of my presentation shows what their newspapers look like. Mm-hmm. They're very concerned with end times and revelations, and those type of materials sold well. Just look at the Left Behind series. That's the more recent example of that. Yeah. But people are interested in the end times, and so she had thousands of followers. But then the city of Waco decided they would like to put their water treatment plant on top of the property, Mount Carmel in Waco. And so they purchased the property, giving them $700,000.
And back then that was good. That was decent money for.
That was 1957. That was a lot of money in 1957. So they were able to go out into the countryside and purchase 700 acres, 950 acres actually, for cash, 10 miles outside of Waco.
And that's where the compound started.
And well, that's where the community. This time I call it a community.
Okay. It's basically its own city.
Its own city.
Yeah.
Yeah. George Roden, the person who was the victim of the attempted murder I tried, he called it Rodenville.
Okay.
So, yeah, they had houses. They had a church. They had a community building. They had a community swimming pool. They had a community kitchen. It was very much its own little community, and that's how it existed in the late 80s.
And George Roden became the head of the Branch Davidians.
Let me go back to go back to the 1950s.
Okay.
Florence Houteff was the leader at that time, and like I said, she was very influential, thousands of followers. She predicted that Christ would return on April 22nd, 1959. So April 22nd is a very important date to the Branch Davidians.
Huh.
And
Doomsday.
That's Doomsday. They built a clock, a Doomsday clock, and put it in their headquarters out on Mount Carmel. Mm-hmm. The clock is still there today.
Oh, wow.
If you want to go see it.
Is it a tourist attraction?
No, it's inside of a private school.
Oh, okay.
Vanguard Preparatory Academy. It's in their lobby, and they have little ropes around it so people don't step on it. But the Doomsday Clock is still there. And a little bit of the property that the Branch Davidians owned back in the 1950s is still owned by the Branch Davidians, and it's across the street from Vanguard Preparatory Academy and the water treatment plant. Well, April 22nd, 1959, Christ did not return.
Oh. Kind of like Y2K didn't shut down the world.
And her followers scattered. Many of them went to live in other areas of Waco. So there are former Branch Davidians throughout the Waco community. Lots of people who live in Waco today know somebody whose grandparents were members of the Branch Davidian Church. After the Christ didn't return, there was only 450 people left, but they were still living there on that property. So they had a lot of houses in order to house 450 people.
I would think so. Yeah.
It was a pretty big community.
We're talking with retired prosecuting attorney Denise Wilkerson, and we will pick up the long version of this interview in next week's episode. In the meantime, this is the place where you will hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, engage, connect, amplify, elevate, celebrate, embrace, explore, share, love, or support this podcast if you haven't already so you never miss an episode. It's free and it's easy. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. Right there on the homepage, enter your email address. We will never, ever, ever, ever send you any spam. We promise.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor, Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Post-production editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without prior written consent is strictly prohibited. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Steve Casillo. Happy Valentine's Day, and this is About Mansfield.